Okay, so it's now live.
I've got the Google up for screen sharing to show them clever.
Okay, we have 14 people are getting in.
Yay.
Good morning, juniors.
Oh, it's climbing. Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, juniors, we're just waiting for a couple minutes to get started. We had some pressing issues this morning, so we were a little late to get on. Okay, 25. Ladies, I will be right back. I have to get my power cord. Oops.
Good morning, juniors. We are just waiting for other people to join us. Zoom is being a little bit slow this morning, so we'll start in just a couple minutes.
We have 30, so we'll wait a couple more minutes because obviously that's not very many of our juniors. Text your friends that they forgot.
Thank you for being here and on time.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, only 32. Uh-oh, this is not good. Text everybody. Send out a text. Well, it's not a good number.
Mrs. Doyle, are you recording this?
I believe it's being recorded, yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, it is recording.
So we could actually go on, and if people jump in, that'd be great. If not, they'll have to catch up later.
Okay, what time is it?
It's about 4 after.
Okay, let's give them one more minute and then we'll get started.
One more just popped in.
Okay, I guess we'll roll with it. So obviously we're missing quite a few juniors, so this will be recorded and posted to the counseling website. So you can let your friends know when you're talking to them later and they say, oh, I completely forgot. It's probably not going to be posted until probably Friday, I would imagine. We're pretty busy doing, obviously, lots of senior stuff this week. So in the next couple of days, it should be posted, but it won't be posted right away. All right. Mrs. Morell is going to do some screen sharing on Zello, which is going to be the platform that you will be using to apply to colleges. So she's going to kind of start from there and walk through the program.
All right. So in the past, we've used Naviance to apply to college. And as we told you all earlier, we broke up with them. It was them, not us. They were not very user-friendly. So we found that Zello is a lot easier for students to use and a lot easier for the application process. So parts of the process are still going to be the same. You're going to go to different colleges' websites and submit applications through there. So for Eastern, for instance, you go to emish.edu and you'd find their application and you'd fill that out online. Some schools will have you use the Common App. And so you would create a Common App account and you would fill the Common App out online. So that's the first step, to fill out the admissions application to whatever school you're looking at, whether it is directly through their institution or through the Common App. Please wait until August 1st to fill out the Common App because it is not open yet for you guys. It's still open for the seniors right now. So August 1st is when the Common App's going to open for you. But your first step, fill out the application through whatever portal they want you to use. So it could be their admissions website or it could be the Common App. After you're going to want to make note of all the schools that you're applying to. And then after that, you're going to go to clever.com, just like we did for your Naviance account. So you're going to log in as a student right up here in the top right corner. I'm going to log in. So it will ask you, unfortunately, it already has me logged in. It's going to ask you how you want to log in, and you're going to choose your Gmail. And then you're going to use your Dexter High School Gmail. It'll ask where you go to school, and you're going to type in Dexter High School. You're going to want to make sure you pick this Dexter High School. There, it will have Dexter Alternative High School, and it also has the Dexter High School in Kansas. We're not in Kansas. We're in Michigan. So make sure you choose Dexter, Michigan. Once you're in there, you'll be directed to a page like this, and it'll be under the apps. So it'll say more apps, and you're going to go to Zello. And now it's logging us in. So this is the educators page. So I'm going to pull up a student page so you can see how it looks. We'll pick 12th grade because that's where you're going to be next year. And this is how you're going to request your transcripts and all your letters of recommendation. You can also explore colleges on here and explore careers. So if you wanted to look at different colleges, you're going to go to explore options in the top right corner, and you're going to go to schools. And here they have 3,503 different schools. So you can pull any of them up and take a look at them and see if this is someplace you'd want to apply. So that's a good thing to do for out-of-state schools that you may want to consider and you don't have time to go visit. So then, let's say you've applied to all of your different schools, you're going to go to the college planning link in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, create your first college application. So let's say you want to apply to Michigan State. There it is, select. And then you're going to hit next. Now, what we need you to do is select your admission type. So the rolling admission would be the admission that is not early. You won't get an early decision. You'll know by April if you get into the school. So that is something that does not have to be done by November 1st. Regular decision, same thing. The early action is the one that you need to get done by November 1st. And you'll get a reply from the school by December, letting you know if you got in. And then they have other early decision. One is the one that's a binding agreement. So if you apply with early decision, that means that if you get accepted, you're definitely going to go to that school 100%. So let's say I'm just going to apply to Michigan State with rolling admission. And the application deadline for that is February 9th. I'm just picking a day. Please don't write these dates down. I'm making this up. So then you're going to hit create. Okay. So the nice thing about Zello that Naviance didn't have is that it's going to keep track of all of your college applications. So it's going to tell you what is needed for each college that you're applying to. So this one, you need to send your ACT or your SAT score. So if you've already sent them, so this is something you guys want to make sure you know. We don't have access to your scores, especially if you didn't take them through the high school. The test that you took in April, the scores will be reported on your transcript, but a lot of students will go and retake the test sometime over the summer or in the fall. And we don't get those scores. They don't get reported to us. If you bring us a score that's better than what you had in April and ask us to put it on your transcript, we can do that. But if you don't, you need to go to your College Board account and have it sent directly to the school. There are some institutions, University of Michigan, for instance, that will take the scores from us, but you also still have to send them through College Board. So you need to double check with your institution whether they want it on the transcript or if you need to have it sent directly from College Board. So let's say I knew that my SAT score was going to be on the transcript that was sent. I'm going to mark that as complete. Way to go. See, it gives me confetti. It's very happy for me. So that means that that part of the application is complete. Okay. So let's go back to college applications. So now it's going to keep track of all of the applications and it's going to tell you any of the pending items that need to get done and what any of the due dates are for these applications. So as you can see, the college for your FAFSA, the college year 2022, that would be the year you're going to go to school. You're going to go to college. Your freshman year will be 2022, 2020, 2023. It's telling you that the FAFSA will open for you on October 1st. Okay. And it reminds you of the application deadline for Michigan State that I made up. So please, again, don't write that down. I made that up.
So just to piggyback, the majority of you will probably want to complete your college applications by that November 1st deadline. So we usually tell kids, have your applications in by Halloween. And part of the reason for that, especially if you are maybe on the bubble for a school, and by that I mean maybe your GPA or your SAT or ACT score is a little bit lower than their average, you definitely want to get your college application in earlier rather than later. So colleges tend to be a little more forgiving and accept more students in the beginning and then become more selective towards the end of the year. So we really do encourage, you know, obviously if it's rolling admissions and you come across a school that, you know, maybe you visited late in the fall or, you know, you stumble across in the winter that you hadn't thought about, of course you can still apply if it's rolling admissions after that November 1st deadline. But a good rule of thumb is really for your top choices, those really should all be completed by November 1st. Okay, and by completed, and you know, Ms. Morrell will probably touch on this also, is your letters of recommendation, your ACT and SAT scores, everything has to be there by the November 1st deadline. So that's a completed application.
And that is, guys, with Mrs. Morrell saying that we cannot send your SAT scores. There are some colleges that will take it off of our transcript. Some colleges do not. So that is on you to figure out which colleges want it directly sent from College Board and which colleges will accept it on our transcript. And you get 4 free choices. So if you use that when you took your SAT or you plan on taking it again, use those free 4 choices that it will automatically be sent to. When you get into your College Board account, you will see which colleges you've already sent those test scores to. So if you are unsure who you may have selected, and that is not maybe the 4 that you want anymore, you will have to go in and you will have to order scores to be sent. And I think it's like $8 per score send.
Yeah. And just
do not have access to your college.
Have access. No.
So, and the other thing is I've had quite a few questions about juniors. Some of them were a little nervous because they said they bubbled in their, 4 free schools and maybe didn't do as well as they had hoped and planned to retake it. And they were kind of worried that, oh my gosh, I sent the score and it wasn't that great. And now colleges, you can take, I mean, there's people that get into U of M who have maybe taken the SAT 6 times. U of M is just looking at what is your highest score. So if you already sent it to a college and that's not your highest score, do not worry about it. When you retest and get that higher score, hopefully you will resend it to them and it will be fine. They truly are not dinging you, if they see a lower score. They just want to see the best score that you possibly have. And that's what they circle and take when evaluating your application. So don't panic if you sent it and you didn't do as well as you thought.
Mrs. Doyle said, and I'm going to maybe backtrack a little bit, said that all of these applications are due November 1st. So plan on having your application done on Halloween. I'm going to go with, you should probably plan on having everything done 2 weeks prior. So there are 300 or so juniors, which means that we all have to process all of those applications, and we have letters of recommendations we have to write. If you're applying through Common App, there are multiple forms we have to fill out for you. And if you all turn in your applications on Halloween, they will not get processed in time.
Yes, thank you. We will make an announcement about that a couple weeks prior, because yes, if you wait until Halloween, we all have children and we will be out with our families and our children. We're not staying up until midnight filling out your college application because you waited till the last minute. So make sure that you have everything done as far as what we have to do on our end by that deadline, which should be at least 2 weeks prior to Halloween. But that's just how, my point was basically that's how you can remember, have your stuff completed, which means that your teachers have completed their stuff, the counselors have completed their stuff by Halloween, then you're in good shape.
Yeah. So give us
something else. If you are doing the Common App, you do not have to wait to put your request into Zello until your Common App is completed or you submit all your applications through Common App. You can request your transcript to be sent through Zello right away if you know that is a college you are definitely applying to. So don't think you have to wait for your application on Common App to be completed and everything submitted and sent before we can send ours. We can send ours as soon as you make your request.
So to that end, we're going to go to college planning again. It will let me know. So that is really all you have to do. When we get the local scholarships in, that'll be in April or May. You can check here for it, and then you can see all of the local scholarships. And then it also has a knowledge hub. So it's got a link to Common App, and it shows you how you can create your account, and it gives you some information about what it is, when does it open, and kind of all of that sort of thing. It has a link to FAFSA. It explains what it is, and then it links you to it. So any questions, general questions that you may have, you'll find a lot of the answers here on Zello. And I think the other thing, it'll take you to the SAT. So and there's practice tests, all of these different things that you can do. So there's ACT registration if you decide you'd like to take that, the SAT registration if you'd like to retake it, all of that is linked through Zello.
One quick thing while Mrs. Morell is on the SAT, ACT, I've had a couple students who have realized that ACT and SAT for summer and fall are filling up rather quickly. I had a student say that the closest location was in Ohio. So that is something, if you do want to retake the SAT or you want to take the ACT, I would start looking at those test dates now. Sometimes they do have a wait list, so you can, join like the wait list for the June or August. You've probably missed the June deadline. You'd have to pay a late registration and be added to that wait list. But for August and September, you should start looking at that now, because what's happened is, because of the pandemic, many students were not able to take the ACT or SAT. So there's a huge backlog of students who are trying to take these tests. So I know even last year we had students driving up north to take it when it finally opened back up. So my point being, if you're considering it, I would log on in the next, week or so and try to sign up for those tests for the fall before they're completely full.
Absolutely. Transcripts and recommendation letters. It tells you what to do. Talk to your counselor. We're a wealth of information. We're happy to help you. You want to talk to your teachers probably before you leave school and let them know, hey, I'm thinking about applying to these schools. Would you be willing to write a letter of recommendation? Some things to think about: if you're applying to a school for engineering, you want a math and science teacher to write those letters. You may be a phenomenal English student or a phenomenal band student or something, but schools of engineering want to know how you perform in math and science courses. If you're looking at a political science program or something in social sciences, or a liberal arts degree, that's where you can talk to your music teacher. You can talk to your English teacher, your social studies teacher, or a science teacher, or a math teacher for that matter. But you definitely want to make sure, if you're going into a health field, a medical field, or an engineering field, you want that math and science request. Talk to your teachers early. They need to have plenty of time to write those letters, because you're not the only person asking them. And they do put a lot of time and effort and thought into those letters. Make sure you're asking a teacher that knows you well and that likes you. That should go without saying, but you don't want to have the teacher that you've butted heads with write you the letter of recommendation. That may not be the best letter. And if you need a counselor letter, definitely talk to us, because we have a lot of them to write, and we want to write a thorough, accurate letter for you.
Piggybacking on that, if your colleges do not request letters of recommendation or counselor letters of recommendation, you don't need one. I know on our old system, Naviance, they would not even allow you to upload if the college did not request them. So please, again, do your research. Know how many letters of recommendation you need for a certain college, or if you need any at all. You might just have to write an essay. You might need a letter of rec and an essay and a counselor letter of rec. But you guys have to do the research on what you're going to need, because you don't want to put more pressure on yourself if you really don't need to ask anybody for a letter of rec, or if you don't need to do that essay that you've been stressing about since your freshman year. So do the research on the colleges that you are applying to, know what they are requiring you to send.
Which is something really great about Zello. When you put that application in, it's going to tell you what you need. So Michigan State, nothing was said about a letter of recommendation. It just asked for ACT scores.
So that Michigan State does not want letters of recommendation, meaning they will not accept them. So to Ms. Jacobs' point, you should get a college notebook, and as you're applying to these colleges, write down, okay, this school does not need a counselor or teacher letter of recommendation. This school does need a teacher letter of recommendation, or this school wants 2 teacher letters of recommendation. But teachers will get very frustrated. And we had this happen last year when kids requested letters, and these are not easy to write, you guys, they're very time intensive. And then the teacher would go to send the letter of recommendation, and their letter of recommendation would be blocked. The reason for that is because the school says we do not want them, so we are not going to accept them. So please, before you ask anybody, see if you actually need them. Okay, we don't want to waste anybody's time.
So the other, again, Zello is a lot more user friendly. There are instructions for everything that you can get to. So I was looking at, how do I send an official transcript to college? Obviously, talk to your counselor. If you are not using Common App, you can click on this link and it walks you through step by step how to request that college or that transcript. And it'll come up in the application checklist. So that's how you're going to request your transcripts to be sent. If it's a Common App school, it automatically will request that. So we can go back and look at your, let's go back to college planning and let's see if we can find a.
Should we do U of M? Just, they might have more.
University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. I'm going to select this, knowing that that's a Common App school. So we're going to select early action 1. I'm going to pick that November 1st deadline. And we're going to create that application. So now you see there are a lot more things that need to be added to this school. So the transcript, we're going to request the transcript. So request transcript. Your high school is processing it. Super. Recommendation letters, options, request letters. So I'm going to say that Mrs. Doyle is going to write my letter of recommendation. And you hit next. And then you can, here's where you can write a personal note. So let's say you have a, dear Mrs. Doyle, please write me a wonderful letter of recommendation for U of M. I am your favorite student. Please mention my wonderful grades and all the volunteering I do. So if you have any circumstances that you want to make sure you want the teachers to touch on, or if you're an athlete and you want to make sure that they touch on how you can juggle your athletic schedule as well as your coursework, put that in your little personal note. If you have a brag sheet, which we're going to upload to Zello for you to fill out, these are tremendously helpful. I can't even stress that enough. It's going to ask you things like, what are you most proud of? Where have you shown leadership? It's a way for us to make it a really personalized letter so that we know what you want us to highlight. And if you've had any unusual circumstances, let's say you are a student that has a lot of younger siblings and you spend a lot of time taking care of them after school, so you haven't been able to volunteer as much, or you haven't been able to join clubs or activities because you have other responsibilities. Colleges want to see that. It looks a lot different if you're a student that has responsibilities and family responsibilities to take care of. And that's why you haven't maybe participated in things and you're not sitting at home in the basement playing Xbox. So you want to highlight those things that you do. So you can attach your resume or a brag sheet here. Then obviously you're just going to select that, and then you can choose a local file. So anything on your computer, you can drag and drop. Super duper easy. And then when you're all done, you're going to hit send. And that's going to go to Mrs. Doyle, and she's going to, when she opens up her Zello account, she's going to have a notification that, hey, Erica Morrell has sent me a request for a recommendation letter. The personal essay, you can put a due date, you can mark as complete. It has interview on here. Not everybody's going to be interviewed at U of M. So if you're not going to be interviewed, you just delete the task. So I know that I'm not going to be interviewed.
Interviews for those types of places are usually for schools that like theater, dance, you know, the music program.
Ivy League schools will generally interview, and you may also be granted an interview if you're bubbly.
Mm-hmm.
Personal essay, let's say I'm already done with that. Gonna mark that as complete. And I know that I've already gone into College Board and I've sent that the SAT. So I'm gonna mark that as complete. So now it's got all of that. And anytime I go back to my college applications, it's gonna tell me that I have 2 pending items. I've got a transcript and recommendation letters that still need to go in by that November 21st deadline. So it is so much easier than Zello or Naviance. You're going to have a whole list of schools on here that you're applying to, and that it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it. It takes a lot of that guesswork out. It takes a lot of the you keeping track of that out. It's now going to be right here for you. So you definitely want to keep a planner so you remember when you have to do things, and you can check when those due dates are right here on Zello.
If you're not sure about like careers or college programs that might have something for your career choice, I would suggest doing your EDP, your Education Development Plan, which is all of the things that you're seeing here. You start from there and complete what careers within those answers of career paths are colleges that have the programs. So there's a link right within that would be helpful in your search, not just applying to random colleges or ones you think you want to go to. Be very specific in, you know, maybe what you want to study, and go to schools that have those.
So right here under all lessons, it says 0% completed. I have not come in here and started to play around with the 12th grade thing. But as an 11th grader, you can go in right now, and there's going to be 4 lessons for you to do. So there's career backup plans, job interviews, defining success, and career path choices that you would do as a 12th grader, as a senior. I would recommend doing all of these things. It really, really and truly will give you some pretty accurate ideas of what you'd be good at and you might enjoy.
And so that's obviously one of the most important things about choosing a college, is to make sure that they have your major and possibly what you're considering as your backup major. So, you know, sometimes kids are debating between 2 different majors. It's really nice if you find a school who obviously has both of them. That way, if you decide to switch, you're not having to move schools to do that. And that's what Zello can help you figure out, is what colleges offer what majors, and, you know, do they have multiple majors at that school that you might be interested in. So play around with the careers and the schools tabs on this. And the lessons could help you, you know, figure things out by fall where you truly want to apply. Also, many colleges are starting up with actual college tours, in-person college tours. Those were obviously all suspended. But I would say, you know, to get on, and if you have a chance this summer, hopefully, maybe as you're doing some traveling, to stop at colleges, you know, take a tour of the campus, take a tour of the area to make sure that, you know, you would be comfortable at that school or that location. So, you know, once again, you can get on the college website and see when they're offering those in-person tours.
And as you play with Zello, there are lots of different links and resources that we post. So as schools are sending us information about like camps for the summer, U of M has historically has a lot of programming for high school students over the summer. We're going to throw all of these things up here under links and resources. So the Joy of Coding, for instance, I think this is probably expired. Apply by March 15th for priority consideration. But this was a summer program for high school students in July through August. And it's an online course and it teaches coding. So we're going to throw all of those things up on Zello for you. I put up a scholarship for students that are going to be attending Lawrence Tech University. So please make sure you're checking on Zello for those kind of things. We always get emails from students. What are things that I can do over the summer? Do you have any camps or anything like that? We're going to put all of this up here on Zello.
If you email us, we're going to tell you probably to look at your Zello account because it will be there. We'll help you maneuver it, but basically it's a one-stop shop. You'll have everything you need in this one program to find colleges, how much you could make if you are, a literature professor or what have you. So anything you need is on this particular program and super easy to access. So just kind of play around with it. You have to do the EDP. It's a state requirement to graduate from a public high school. So that 0%, you obviously want to get to 100% by time your senior year at the end. So it's something that you might as well start getting into and dive into and get a little more familiar with. So it does help you with your application and the process that you're making decisions on.
The other very important piece is that obviously, once again, didn't have this last fall, but for you guys, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're back to a normal school year. We will be allowing colleges to come in. So the college reps will start meeting in the fall. So Michigan State will come in, U of M will come in, Grand Valley will come in, and you guys will be able to come down. Sometimes we meet in the counseling office, sometimes we meet in the band room, depending on the size, but you'll be able to meet with the college reps from various universities, ask questions, find out about potential scholarships, ask about particular programs that maybe you're interested in. So you want to sign up for those, and we will be posting those, correct, Ms. Morrell, on Zello, the times and dates that those college meetings will be happening. Those are excused absences. So you will just sign up. We will excuse your absence from second hour, third hour, whatever it is. And then you'll come down and meet with those college reps.
A question on our little chat room is, when should I start filling out parts for the application on Zello? And I would say August 1 is when the Common App opens. You guys filling that out and figuring out what colleges, you can fill it out on Zello. However, we do not return back until the end of August. So don't expect like transcripts are loaded or anything like that until probably the end of August.
So the transcripts won't be loaded actually until probably the second or third week of school. We wait until you all are done changing your minds about classes.
Yep.
We have to put your course load on the transcript, and we have found that if we upload them too early, you all change your minds, and then we have to take them down and put a new set of transcripts up with accurate classes. And it makes you look a little less wishy-washy if we don't send them 5 transcripts with a whole bunch of different classes each time.
True.
And again, Common App for your fall of 2022, I believe it will be, August 1st. Common App opens August 1st. As far as Zello goes, you can request things. We just will not receive it until we are back full-time as counselors in the fall, which we won't be able to upload transcripts until probably the end of September. So if you request it way back in August, that's fine. Just know that it probably won't be filled until we come back and we get back in the swing of things, and schedule changes are over by that point.
So
a good rule of thumb would be don't request anything until after August 1. You can go in there and put the schools that you're intending on applying, but don't request anything until August 1st.
and then it says, should we create the application on Zello before or after submitting the actual application to the school? I would do it personally. Like, if you're saying like I would apply to Grand Valley first, and then I would go into Zello and say that you've applied to Grand Valley. Okay, yep. So I would do the college application first and then go into Zello once you've actually applied.
Absolutely.
And the common application, Erica, should we touch on, is there a particular, I know there was, I think a link for that.
Let's see what I can do with that.
So the common application, once again, you guys, we need to be very clear about this. Not every college uses the Common App. The Common App, the point of the Common application is to make it easier for kids applying to schools who use the Common App. If they're applying to multiple schools who use the Common App, it's one piece versus all these different applications. So for example, if you're applying to University of Michigan, University of Wisconsin, they use the Common App. So you're filling out that one application. However, still within Common App, those schools might have different essay questions you have to answer. So U of M has their own essay questions. University of Wisconsin has their own essay questions. They may be quite similar, but obviously you want to tweak them for that school. You don't want to say the same response. Why you want to go to U of M should look different than why you want to go to University of Wisconsin. So make sure and they get those every year where kids just cut and paste things. And it's like, well, wait a minute, we don't even have that at this school. What's this kid talking about?
Oh, 100%. Because we go to these giant breakfasts at U of M and they go through applications and they pull out an example every year that says, clearly this is a generic why I want to go to blank blank university. So make sure you are not recycling your essay, especially for very specific questions like that.
Under this tab, I love that it has how to link your Zello account with your Common App account. It's a video, you guys, easy. Watch the video. It shows you exactly how to do it. So then when you do something in Common App, it talks to Zello and it lets us know what you're completing or what you have completed. So please look at the tools that are here because they make it super easy, super friendly to find.
And back to Mrs. Doyle's point, if you're only applying to one school that uses the Common App, like Wayne State is a Common App school. If you're applying to Wayne State and U of M and Michigan State, then go ahead and fill out the Common App because all three of those schools are on there. If you're applying to Wayne State and a bunch of schools that don't use the Common App, then don't apply via Common App for Wayne State. Just use their direct to institution application.
And you'll be able to find that on the Common App. You'll know if you type in a school and it doesn't come up on the Common App, it means it's not a school that uses Common App. So it's easy to know what schools do or what schools don't. And you can Google it as well. Google is your friend, especially through this process. So Google it, you'll know right away if it's a Common App school or if it's a direct.
Right on. So this is
right on Zello. There's a full list of Common App colleges. So again, if you're not applying to more than one Common App school, you only have one school that is Common App. Do not apply through Common App. Choose the direct to institution option.
When you click on that, you guys, you can see and make a decision. So these are, all the schools, and you can Google in there. You can use the search engine if you know the specific school. Or if you're staying in the state of Michigan, you could put in Michigan, and then it's going to tell you all the colleges in Michigan that are Common App. So that's super helpful. So then, like Ms. Morell said, if you're going through this list of Michigan schools and saying, oh yeah, I'm applying to Albion, Central, Eastern, U of M, okay, then obviously you want to use the Common App. But if you're looking at this list going, yeah, it's only Hope College that I'm applying to that uses the Common App, then just apply directly to Hope College. Perfect. So there we go. Question answered about that.
Any other questions out there?
Again, there are so many answers on Zello and they're really easy you know, and again, see, it even tells you August 1st in big bold letters. That's when it opens. You know, very user-friendly and lots of answers on here.
And same thing for this year, please make sure if you are filling out the Common Application, if you're applying through Common App, you need to use your Dexter High School account. Do not use your personal email or your parents' email. Use your Dexter High School email because that's how it talks to Zello. Otherwise, they will not link up and we won't be able to see that.
And
Yes.
that is how we communicate with you as well. So using your Dexter account is going to be key in your senior year because we're not going to find your personal account either. Just please use your Dexter account.
And I've seen some personal emails that students have, and you should not be sending those to colleges. Some of them are very hilarious, but probably not super college appropriate.
Okay, any questions that you guys have? The bottom line is this website is very friendly. It has lots of resources. It can pretty much answer any question that you have. So, you know, read through these, watch the videos, do some research this summer. That's key. Go on, explore the colleges through Zello. Look at the costs, look at how big the campus is, set up a tour, you can do all of those things through Zello. Look at the majors. You know, if you want to stay in Michigan, look at all the colleges in Michigan that offer your intended major and start narrowing things down.
Look at what the grade point range is. If you've got a 2.4, U of M probably is not the place that you're going to want to look at. So be realistic with your searches and look at what their admissions criteria is and see where you fit.
So since we just got this last year, do we still have to do all 4 years of the courses? I mean, if you had time and you wanted to, yes, but no. I think focus on the junior and senior components of it because that's what's most important for you guys. That's the college searches, that's the career searches. So just focus on, you know, 11th and 12th grade tasks. You don't have to go back and do the 9th and 10th grade tasks unless you want to. I mean, some people might think it's kind of fun to do some of those matchmaker and take some of those inventories and things, but if you don't have time, that's perfectly fine.
Any other questions?
I think we're good.
I think so too.
Thank you again for coming this morning.
Thank you, juniors.
Juniors.
Once again, this is recorded and we will put it onto the counseling website in the next few days. All right, thanks so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.